One of the very first questions that really haunted the hell out of me, if I'm going to be honest, is significance. What is it? It was never even something that I ever even spent time thinking about. Because as a Marine, you're focused on mission accomplishment. On the other side of leaving the Marine Corps, I was always focused on what did I have to do right in front of me? What was it going to do to get to the next thing? What I was doing and where I was going, and was that going to mean anything? What was I leaving behind? Those are questions that I never worried about. I never even thought about them. They weren't things that I ignored. I didn't even know they were on my radar. So today I want to put it on your radar because significance is one of those we want to be able to think about. We want to measure with intentionality. We want to understand what is the significance of what we're doing. Are we doing anything that matters? One of the big things that millennials always get docked for at work is because we always say we want our work to matter. We want the things we put our 8 hours a day into, 40 hours a week. We want that to make the world a better place. That is something that is wired in our soul, and we often get pushed down for being a millennial for that. But I believe it's something that really is going to help change the next generation of workforce ideas and how we pursue careers. But I want to pull back and maybe hopefully break it down in a way that helps you understand it's a lot simpler than you think. So this first started when Jay Leno left the Tonight Show. He had all these people come out on stage at the very end and just show appreciation for Jay being there, for Jay giving him a shot on stage as a comedian. Jay had so much significance in these lives, they came out to repay and show gratitude on this last night with spades. And it was overwhelming because I was like, man, that man, he was building all of these friendships throughout his life and now kind of beginning to see it at the very end of how many people he truly affected. We often can forget that. I even forget that. And then back then, I wasn't even thinking about it. So I was thinking, I was like, who's going to show up for me? Is there anybody that's going to care that I was here? Like, when I go back to dirt, is that something that people are going to actually care? Will they miss me? Will I just be another number, another name in the Social Security database that gets a death certificate printed and is just part of the people that drive by every day you drive by in a cemetery? Was that going to be me? That question haunted me. And I often describe it like, think of the Independence Day when those alien attack ships were coming out of the clouds. The sky was Armageddon. And then all of a sudden, these ships just settled over the city. Settling over the city, it was like impossible to think that you could actually do anything to affect it. It was massive. You were just one person. How could one person over the next 40 years create anything that was significant? Like, that seemed like a huge obstacle. But the part that I had to learn the hard way was significance isn't like this big idea that you lead towards. Significance is really finding the joy in everyday moments. It's walking with what's ever in front of you, whether it be good, bad, or ugly, and realizing this is just what life looks like today. Taking what's in front of you and making the most of it. Taking what's in front of you and giving it your all. Taking what's in front of you and loving it, even when it maybe is hard. That significance, whoever is in front of you, showing up in your true power of who you are, to me, that's where I've learned significant comes from. And it's not something that you go out and find. It's something that you've always had right there in front of you. It's who you are. It's who you are when you show up. And so for me, when I think about significance, it's not about changing the world for 10,000 dads. That is a goal I have, but it's not how I measure significance. Significance is, how do I affect the people that God has brought in front of me today? People listening to this episode. How can I help the people that are in front of me and show them love, show them compassion, and help them in whichever way I can by me being me. And by me being me in those moments, by creating significance for myself in that moment and changing how I feel about the world, I there in nature change the world repeated over time. And it's done through those simple moments of everyday life of showing up, hugging our kids, loving them, showing them the love even when they maybe don't deserve it, maybe when they're just throwing the fireballs of hate at you. whatever it may be, loving what's right in front of you, I feel like that's the invitation for significance, because it's that love that always sets everything free. It's always pain that hides what we don't want to deal with. So for me to be significant, it's what Jay did. Jay just appreciated the crap out of everyone that came into his life, and he gave him whatever opportunity he could with what he had in that moment. Whether it be the stage of the Tonight Show, whether it be a connection he probably knew before he had that show, whatever it may be. He just showed up and was Jay. And it took me a long time to fully realize that. So, your call to action. Think about how you are not showing up in the everyday moments. Because I'm here to tell you, it's those everyday moments where a significant life is fielded, it's harvested, and it's planted every single day. Have a great weekend, and I'll be back again with you guys on Monday.